Alright, welcome to round 6 of the FRL Division 1 Championship. Here we are in Britain, getting ready for the main race. We had a pretty close qualifying for the most part, with the exception of Wolford taking a very dominant pole position, and I think he's going to be looking to continue that into the race. Here in the Formation Lab, we have mostly medium runners, with a few exceptions. Wonder Toast at the back starting on the hard tires, as well as Jake starting on the hards. And finally, we have Shaggy starting on the soft tire, looking to take advantage of an aggressive strategy. No, it's interesting. It looks like Wonder just joined late as a reserve. It's really interesting to see how he handles in the Scuderia, because he's typically an Aston Martin driver in Division 2.
Very interesting.
Joining me in the commentary box today is going to be Pat. So, how do you think this is going to play out?
What is this fun? I think we might have a little bit of chaos off the start. I mean, that's how most races go in this league, unfortunately. But I feel like once we can get through that first lap, I feel like we're gonna get some good racing.
Probably a late safety car, then probably a 3-4 lap shootout going to the end,
Hey, I think your
which can
mic
make for some
disconnected.
very exciting action and potentially some teams who don't normally get points or not too many points get a decent point haul.
Yep, it sounds like your mic may have disconnected there. I'm hearing you on, like, a different audio.
And I'm sure you know which team I'm referring to, Mage.
I don't think you're able to hear me. Uh-oh. Pat, are you good?
Oh yeah, my mic disconnected. Sorry.
Yep, I heard you, like, it sounded like, Xbox 360 mic for a little bit. Like,
Do you want me to say it again or no?
I heard you loud and clear.
Okay.
Geo just completely
Everyone's going
messed
off
up
track.
his grid start. But, yeah, like you said, turn one is going to be scary, but like you said, once we get through this first lap, I think it's going to be really exciting. It's all a matter of how this plays off on the start. We're about to witness it as the five-red lights are coming on here in Silverstone, Britain. It's lights out and away we go. Wolver has a mega star, immediately pulls away to the lead as Ghostly looks to be fighting for second, perhaps even the lead, because he's already charging after Wolver here and maybe looking for an opening. And we do have chaos as an Alfa Romeo miraculously survives. Well, I can say he fared much better than Guan Yu Zhou at this race. Meanwhile, Shaggy has actually dropped down a few spots after seemingly being spun. Oh, we have a lot of close racing here right now, here in the back, with Shaggy looking to make a move. We're going 3 wide into turn 6, as Shaggy just smashes into the back of Wonder Toast. Another collision. What is going on here? Absolute chaos. Shaggy smashes into Wonder Toast.
What is happening?
Shaggy is just racing dirty. He's just gone completely off the deep end.
I didn't know this was NASCAR.
This is not NASCAR. This is a game of Wreckfest that we're witnessing right now. Shaggy is just that was just completely brutal. Well, we are witnessing a lot of drama right off the start, and it is chaotic, to put it mildly.
It is NASCAR, Mitch. It's just Kyle Busch's version of NASCAR.
I don't like Kyle Busch's version of NASCAR. I
Well,
prefer
that's what we
Jeff
just saw.
Gordon's. Honestly, I wouldn't even say that was Kyle Busch. That was more like Tony Stewart.
True. Oh,
Shaggy, he's gonna retire in the pits, I think.
I think he is.
Well, I mean, even if he probably just did that as an act of rage quitting. I think he got spun and was just so mad he decided to take everybody out. No wait. Oh no, he is. I guess he's just going. Okay, he's. I guess he's still going. I thought he was gonna retire, but I guess not. Meanwhile, Sugi is chasing after Geo, maybe looking for a move here soon enough. We don't have DRS activated just yet. We'll have it on the next lap. But Sugi may not need it to overtake Gio at the moment. He seems to be really rapid in the corners, but Gio seems to be beating him on the straights.
Can we talk about how Suki's gained 7 positions in 1 lap?
Well, he did take advantage of all the chaos off the start and just maneuvered his way past everybody. So that is some good racing by him. And I think now he's going to soon be looking to make up another spot. Yellow flag in Sector 1. That is Shaggy having spun, most likely, on this set of hard tires. Meanwhile, Wolfer is pulling a pretty comfortable gap. He's now put Ghostly out of DRS range, while Envy is starting to close it. Skid has crashed at the exact same spot that he did in qualifying. That can't be a coincidence, and well, that's going to trigger a safety car as Wonder Toast has to come to a complete halt to save himself from a drive-through penalty that Zipman is surely about to get. Oh no, he actually managed to avoid it, while Taylor Box actually charges straight into the pit lane. Is he getting a new front wing? That's the only thing I'm speculating that he's doing, because otherwise I would not want to pit this early for a set of hard tires.
I don't see a wing. That's a pit stop.
You're right. He's going on the hard tires. Is he going to try to go to the end on that set? But
He can't. Those tires will not last. He might be gambling on a late safety car or another late VSC for a soft run.
That's true, but honestly, I think that was a strategy mistake. Yellow flag at Sector 2.
It's Envy!
Envy is spun! This is horrific for him! He's lost a lot of ground here, but he's also having a Ferrari rapidly gaining on him as well. It's Wonder Toast coming up fast. Sugi's going to get a time penalty, and Envy's going to have to try and defend position, but he simply can't for long. It's going to be a little bit close going into Cox.
Oh, no!
And they take each other out like Lewis and Max. Practically a mirror image, except, well, the Ferrari also spun in that situation. That was a mirror image, what just happened there. That was brutal. Taylor Boss is making his way through now. Oh, and he goes really wide. It's going to be a track limit warning. I bet you someone is going to edit them colliding into the Lewis and Max collision. Someone's going to do it later. Shaggy spins yet again. And now he's just sitting there. Envy is just struggling right now. But Shaggy.
I think he broke his front wing.
No, I think his tires are just really heated up from the spin earlier. But Envy's now completely dropped off the rest of the field. He's now incredibly far behind. While Shaggy, oh no, I have a bad feeling about this.
Oh no.
I think Shaggy is about to be an absolute menace to society.
Shaggy, no.
I think he may be going completely off the deep end here. Either that or he's going to just try and hold Wolfer back.
Oh god.
He's actively impeding Wolfer here, despite the fact that blue flags are active and he should be let through. I think this is an intentional move to let Ghostly catch up. But yeah, Shaggy's being an absolute menace. Weaving on the straight, no. He hits Wolfer!
Oh, no! What is this?
Shaggy is being an absolute menace to the entire race. I have a feeling after all of this, he's going to end up being disqualified, to put it mildly, and he is going to be, well, it's not going to look good for him by the end of this, but granted, considering what he's doing, it is certainly not warranted.
And now here comes Ghostly to Shaggy, but Shaggy lets him through! Interesting!
I think he may have just been trying to hold up the race leader to try and make the race closer or something. I don't know, but
I don't know what the thought process was.
Meanwhile, Jake and Slayer are going wheel to wheel. Jake bashes into Slayer. Oh, and then Sugi rejoins dangerously, nearly hitting Jake himself. This race is turning into absolute chaos as I think Sugi hit Prid and caused himself to spin.
What is happening here?
Shaggy,
and Shaggy's out.
I think Shaggy crashed, and he's out of the session, but I don't think that's going to trigger anything. No VSC, no safety car, no nothing. We're just going to continue on.
He
Uh,
retired on track. That car is moving.
oh, that is not good. But yeah, Shaggy is gonna be in deep trouble after this. Meanwhile, Ghosty's actually catching up to Wolfer. I think Shaggy may have given him damage.
I think he might have, because, I mean, he slammed into the side of Wolfer. That might be side pod damage.
Oh, and Zipman gets a time penalty, 3 seconds, as Siggy trying to find his way through, bumps into the back of Zipman, trying to find a way past. Zipman lags a little bit, and now he's behind Sugi. Zipman is, I don't know what he's doing. That Alfa Romeo is teleporting and it's scaring me. Meanwhile, something equally as terrifying is Slayer spinning back there, and Ando and Jake going wheel to wheel going into turn 1. This is going to be close, but Ando manages to remain ahead. Meanwhile, Asparagus gets ahead of Slayer, as Zip manages that as well. Slayer is going to have to try and recover here.
Oh, I found the damage on Wolfer.
Where is it?
He has slight floor damage.
Oh, if he does that, it's really bad for him.
Because the way that where Shaggy was to him, he banged his wheel on the side, but the impact is more on the floor instead of the body. The way that McLaren is built.
I think you're right on that, and yes, Ghostly is continuing to close that gap. He's got DRS now. He's going to be able to close in. I think Shaggy may have just completely sabotaged Wolfer's race. Honestly, I don't know what kind of penalty he's going to get, but it's going to be...
A hefty one.
Yeah, it's going to be at minimum a race ban after all that's occurred.
Maybe, I would say probably 2.
Oh, it's going to be rough. Like I said, 1 race ban is going to be the absolute minimum. He's more than likely going to get far worse. But that is just unacceptable and unfortunate for Wolfer. Meanwhile, Jake is going to go into the pits. After only being out for 5 laps on the hards, I think he may have wing damage, or this may be a strategy call. If this is a strategy call, I'm really questioning it. But as he is making his way down, is the pit crew preparing a new wing?
They're not!
This is a strategy call by him, going on a set of medium tires.
He might be trying something here. I'm trying to figure this out.
I don't think there is any figuring it out.
I think he could go another stop with another set of mediums to the end?
So he's doing a hard, medium, medium. So...
Well, but he's already stopped once. I'm actually confused. Like, I don't know what the thought process here, because he stopped once already. Because we're on lap 7, and those tires were 5 laps old. Well, actually, no, that is his first stop.
Right.
But he doesn't have another set of mediums, so it would have to be soft.
Right, but I think that may have been a mistake on Jake's part. I mean, if he thinks he can make it to the end and he actually pulls it off, I mean, fair play, but I don't see him making it 19 laps unless he can really, really manage those tires, in which case he's going to have to hold back a lot in terms of speed. Meanwhile, we have a fierce battle for 7th place. Asparagus under pressure from Slayer and Zipman, but not for long, at least for Slayer, because I think he's going to be able to make his way past. Asparagus is really fast on a straight line, though, but Slayer brakes really late. The two colliding into one another. Zipman, taking advantage of the chaos, gets ahead of the both of them as he now goes into the pits. I have no idea what is happening anymore.
And there's contact! There is a Ferrari of Wonder Toast! Oh my god, what is happening here?
This race, I don't know what's happening anymore. At this point, anyone could win, and I would not be surprised. Because...
Well, actually, I can tell you what's happening. F2 2022 Silverstone.
I don't want to see a car be used as a ramp for another car again. Then again, at the very least, we don't have Roy Nassani in this race, so things are at least going to be slightly better. There is still hope.
Sargent Masterclass.
Yes. The future Williams driver coming soon.
I mean, Jos Capitao said that he should come to F1 at probably for the 2024 season.
At the latest, he could potentially show up as early as next year, I think.
The rule is he has to finish top 5 to be able to give it enough license points to get to Formula 1.
Well, he's
Which
currently
he's
third. Yep, so he's got the necessary points. But I think if he can get second, he's got that seat. But if he gets
Yeah.
any lower, he's probably gonna have one more year before going out.
I mean, I can also see him if he gets third. I could somewhat see him coming up
Yeah, maybe because Tsunoda
because
finished.
Mazepin was 5th.
Yeah, Tsunoda. Well, Mazepin paid for a seat though. Tsunoda did finish third though, and he got the call up. So Logan Sargent could very well get that call up soon. Ghostly, meanwhile, is on the hunt after Wolfer. This is shaping up to be a pretty close fight. Of course, Wolfer has damage from Shaki hitting him before. But we still have a close fight between Ando and Fred here. Fred using DRS to put himself alongside, and now almost fully ahead. Can he keep ahead by the end of this turn? Yes, he can, but Ando, he's trying to respond on the outside. Can't pull it off. Fred manages to fully complete the move and take a hold of 5th place. Alpine looking very good right now with 2nd and 5th. Meanwhile, immediately after that, we have Red Bull, Mercedes, Red Bull, Mercedes. And actually, speaking of, I think Slayer's going to close the gap to Envy soon. And Envy will also close the gap to Sugi soon. But we have a pretty big gap after that, so don't expect much.
Looks like Wolfer's closing in on a lap car of Jake, who stopped again. I think he was trying to change his front wing, but never did.
Yes, he's on softs now. I think he may have hired the Ferrari strategist.
Or maybe the Williams pit crew.
No, the Williams pit crew is honestly pretty fast. They're actually among the fastest.
Wait, no, who's the worst? Is it
Haas.
Aston Martin has the worst?
Haas is the worst one. They are
Haas-
significantly slower. They are on average over 3 seconds.
Jesus.
Yeah, meanwhile McLaren went from one of the worst to one of the best because they got new wheel guns that are apparently overpowered or something. Because they've been one of the fastest.
I think I saw something that those wheel guns are getting is pretty much like the DAS system at the end of the season. They're becoming illegal.
Which is a shame because McLaren is fast for one.
Well, not at the start of the season.
Well, yes, but to be fair, I think that track just wasn't suited to them because they are really good in slow corners, and they're not great on the straights. Bahrain does not have many slow corners, and it has a lot of straights.
It's got turn 1, turn 4, and turn 10.
Everything else is pretty high speed, but I mean, we saw in like Imola and Monaco, and
Wolfer's in, and Ghostly's in.
Ghostly, he really just dived his way in. The moment he saw Wolfer, he's like, uh-oh, I'm going in immediately after him. And now they're going to be on the same strategy. It seems a bit early, maybe, to go on a set of hard tires, but that seems to be the game plan for the both of them. Meanwhile, Gio, he's going to continue on for one more lap, I think, before he goes in. Yeti will be going in now.
Wolfer's chasing a front wing. Ghostly's in the lead overall.
And that front wing change is going to create a pretty solid gap, at least a couple seconds, giving Ghostly a very solid advantage.
Wow. So I guess it was slight wing damage and slight floor damage for Wolfer.
At the very least, his front wing is fixed, but look at the gap that has now been pulled. 5 seconds is the gap between Ghostly and Wolfer, the two potential race winners. As Sugi is actually gaining quickly on Wolfer, and it's going to be able to make his way past, nearly getting oversteer and clipping Wolfer there. Jake, meanwhile, crashes, retiring from the session, going through the S section.
Safety car.
That is unfortunate timing for Wolfer and Ghostly, but Gio, actually Gio can get a free pit stop here.
And Prid.
Gio
and Ando.
All three of them will be getting free pit stops, essentially. Suddenly, this went from Ghostly and Wolfer fighting for the win to Gio, Prid, Ando, Ghostly, and Wolfer fighting for the win. Sugi could even get into this mix as well as Slayer. They're all getting free pit stops.
I will say this. I bet there's going to be some team orders between Prid and Ghostly, because Prid is a Div 2 driver. not a Div 1, and Ghosty's gonna tell him, get out of my way, this is my division. But Gio's gonna come out in front, because he had 22 seconds coming to the pits.
Indeed, he's gonna have a very wonderful gap. But Ghostly is gonna be coming up quick. However, that safety car limiter is gonna slow him down a lot, enough for at least Gio to get ahead. But I think Prid could perhaps pull that off as well. Or maybe
Actually, I don't know.
This is gonna be close. Gio
No,
has already
Ghosty's gonna be
pitted.
second.
Gio's gonna be able to come out just in time. Actually, no, Ghostly's having to slow down a lot. This might give Prid an opportunity, but he's changing tires as well as Ando. Gio will now be taking the lead, with Ghostly coming up fast. He's gonna have second, Prid potentially third, but Wolver makes his way through to now claim that spot.
Yeah.
Prid will now be fourth, Ando fifth, Sugi sixth, his teammate coming in behind, will be getting seventh now, as Yeti makes his way past, taking a hold of sixth place now, as Hiller gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
You know what? I'll say this. That might be one of the best double stacks I've ever seen in an F1 game, what Mercedes just did. It was spaced enough that he parked, it was a second and a half, then he changed tires, and it was a quick stop. That is one of the best times without being perfect timing.
Indeed. Meanwhile, Envy is in an uncomfortable position. Now put in a silver arrow sandwich. I imagine Envy will want to get out of this situation as fast as he can, and he's going to try and make his way back up towards the front and get back in the fight. However, he's been struggling with spinning around here. We've seen him do it several times now. And, well, considering that he's on cold
there he
hearts,
goes.
it could plague him again.
He just did.
Wait, Envy did?
No, Sugi did.
Oh, well, yep. That, unfortunately, that's kind of standard for Sugi. He does really well up until that point. No, when he doesn't spin, he's really fast, but when he spins, well, I mean, I don't really need to explain what happens there. But
I mean,
this is going to be very, very close. One thing's for certain, though. Wolver cannot afford to let Prid get past him off the start. If Prid gets past, Prid will play a hardcore defensive game. And Wolfer can't let that happen because he will get held up very horribly by Prid. Which would be perfect team orders for Alpine to pull off. I wouldn't be surprised if they were discussing that as we speak. But Gio's in a very good position. AlphaTauri managed to claim a podium yesterday, and they look to be going for another one today.
so it looks like it'll be a 13-lap race. We're doing half the race now. We're about to have a second half. Sort of like NASCAR's stage system, which sucks.
I was about to reference the exact same thing. I will agree. The stage system is absolutely horrible because the cars, the way they work now, NASCAR, it's no longer needed. Also, they need to get rid of the playoffs because the playoffs are dumb. A driver can
Makes no
win
sense.
every single race, but if he loses the final race in the playoffs, the other guy gets a championship, which I think is absolutely dumb.
Yes.
Because let's say you're in the final race and you're leading, and then someone crashes you out.
Prid spun!
Well, I guess Wolfer doesn't have to worry about an Alpine coming up from behind anymore.
And I left. Alright, I need, yeah.
Okay, hopefully they'll be able to, get someone in. I need to stay on air right now. Yeti is making his way through. Okay, Yeti's now in 4th place. He's in a really good spot. And it's going to be interesting to see how this latter part plays out. But we're going to see a very close battle between Red Bull and Mercedes in the midfield. Ando, Sugi, Envy, and Slayer are all going to be absolutely slugging it out to get those points. But the Mercedes have a disadvantage, having time penalties. Slayer with 3, Sugi with 6. Have you managed to rejoin?
I'm joining now.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, Prid sent me an invite.
Fantastic. So here we go. Safety car restart is getting ready to go on their way. Gio's going to be leading them off. And his tires are going to be slightly fresher than the 3 cars behind him. And he's going to lead them off well. Not the greatest of restarts, because already Ghostly's going to be able to fight him for the lead here. Ghostly right behind, looking for an opportunity to get alongside. Backs a little bit early at turn 1 to give him an opportunity around the outside of turn 2. Manages to pull it off and get into the lead, at least for the moment. Can he complete the move? Yes, he does. With brilliant style as well. Ghostly manages to take the lead, and now Wolver is going to get held up by Gio. Gio actually gets a bit of oversteer that gives him an opening, and Wolver easily sailed past. Well, I stand corrected. Meanwhile, Sugi and Ando are battling here with Envy coming up fast. The 2 Red Bulls now racing one another. The 2 nearly colliding. Oh, that nearly resulted in disaster. We did not need to see the 2 Red Bulls collide. We already seen the Avataris do that in real life. Ando goes wide off the track, and he loses a ton of position. Slayer making his way past as well. Asparagus now coming up on Ando as well. Going into Cops is going to be very close, but Ando, learning from past incidents, goes very wide in order to avoid a repeat of history.
Mages did actually make contact the Red Bulls.
I bet it was a slight touch. The moment they felt that, they were just like, okay, time to back off. Meanwhile, Wolfer actually can't seem to close the gap too much to Ghostly. I think that damage that he said to his floor is still hurting him, but he is doing his best to close ground. And he's doing it, it seems, a little by little, but he's got Gio keeping up just fine, as well as Yeti. Meanwhile, Zipman and Slayer are both quickly catching up to Prid. Prid also managing to catch up to Wonder Toast little by little as well. I think we're going to see an absolute slugfest for 7th place. Envy looking to make up some ground and get past Sugi as well.
If Envy can find his way to get back into the podium places, it'll be such a recovery drive for him after having a big incident. I want to say like what, lap 6?
Yes, indeed.
Back.
But it seems to be working out for him quite well right now. His pace is really shining through right now. And he's starting to close the gap to Sugi. Soon enough, he's going to be within DRS range, but he goes wide. Ghostly gets a 3-second time penalty. That has just cost him the win and probably a podium as well.
And now Wolver's outside of DRS range, which I think is getting re-enabled at the end of this lap.
But Wolver manages to keep up just barely. But if Wolver loses DRS, he's got Gio and Yeti both right behind and gaining more and more. Ando and Asparagus are going wheel to wheel. Ando managing to put himself ahead into 11th place. Asparagus looking to fight it back perhaps, breaking late. He has to back out. If he went in any deeper, he would have collided with the Red Bull. Thankfully, he was wise enough to see what was happening. But now he's going to seek another opportunity. He's got a lot of speed, enough to challenge into turn 1 perhaps. But again, has to back out.
No DRS for Wolfer. Meanwhile, Gio and Yeti have DRS. Not enough here, but that did not help Wolfer at all.
Indeed, still, he is close enough now to start getting a hold of DRS range, perhaps, because he is closing that gap now more and more. He was over second behind, but now look at him, and he's under 7/10 and gaining more and more down the straight. I think Ghost may be having a problem of some kind because, well, Wolver has closed the gap very quickly in a short span.
Also, surprisingly, Wolfer got fastest Sector 1 with no DRS.
Wolfer is starting to put in the pace now, and he's got that DRS he was looking for. Gio and Yeti are both being towed along as well. If Gio manages to catch up enough and Wolfer and Ghostly start fighting, Gio could take advantage of that situation. But I think we're going to see this battle pan out soon enough. Wolfer is getting a lot. If he continues at this rate, he's going to be able to challenge down the DRS straight after turn 5.
Indeed.
And Gio, he's showing a lot of pace here, able to keep up with those two front runners, and is actually continuously closing the gap to Wolfer. Wolfer has lost a bit of time, it looks like, to Ghostly. He won't be able to challenge yet, but he is still keeping up. And as long as Wolfer just keeps up with Ghostly, he can still get a race win. And honestly, that would be brilliant news for him. After all, McLaren's home base is here in Britain, and getting a win at their home race would be ideal. Although technically, Alpine is also stationed here in Edstone, as well as Mercedes is stationed here, and Red Bull, and Aston Martin, and Williams. Pretty much every single team is stationed here except for Haas, Ferrari, AlphaTauri, and Alfa Romeo.
No, AlphaTauri is also stationed in England.
Well, they also have a base in Italy.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, here we go. Wolver's going to be challenging for the lead. He manages to sail through and take a hold of it with seemingly little effort. I think Ghostly just didn't want to fight that too hard.
I think I know what Ghostly's doing here. He's trying to see, because I'm sure he thinks he has the pace to win, but I'm wondering if he's trying to see if he can put pressure on Wolfer and make him get a time penalty so that he's even with him.
The Ghostly is keeping up with Wolfer just fine, it looks like. He's able to keep a very even pace. If not, he seems to be a little bit faster than him. But, like he said, he may be trying to kind of scare Wolfer into a mistake, but I don't really see that happening. Wolfer, he has a very strong composure about him. I don't think he's going to get scared by much at all, unless the car was careening at him full speed. And, well, hopefully Ghostly isn't going to be that crazy. I don't think he will. But, anything could happen. Thankfully, though, I don't think we're going to have any more drivers going up the deep end like we did with Shaggy earlier.
Well, I wouldn't say that. Ghost does run Daniel Kvyat's racing number, so anything can happen.
Indeed, and well, we are here in Britain, famously known for their navy, and well, of course, where there's a navy, there's torpedoes, so Ghostly is gonna be charging his way down with the aid of DRS, but honestly, Wolver just has a ton of straight line speed, it looks like. Ghostly barely managed to close down that gap at all. I think Ghostly may have Wolver in the corners, but Wolver's so strong on a straight that it doesn't matter. Meanwhile, Pred manages to play his way past Wonder Toast for a moment. Wonder Toast looking to put a lot of pressure on Pred. Pred wanting to find a way through to claim 7th place. I think he's managed to complete the move, but not just yet. Wonder Toast once again putting on the pressure. Manages to keep ahead, but now Zipman is looking to get in on this action. He is right behind. This is going to be a close battle for 7th place. Yellow flag in sector 3, that is Taylor, spinning and crashing in an exact mirror of Skid earlier. Meanwhile, Pred is gaining rapidly on Wonder Toast. This is the chance he's been waiting for, and he's going to be able to clear the Alfa Romeo, well not the Alfa Romeo, the Ferrari with ease, and puts himself ahead. Well, I mean, same difference. They both have red on them, they're both unreliable, so, yeah, same difference.
How dare you, Mage?
I mean, it's true. Look at how many DNFs Joe has had. That man has had no luck, especially here, at this track, where he turned into a Beyblade until he crashed.
I'm trying not to laugh at that.
Thankfully, he walked away unharmed. His car, however, did not. But Envy is now chasing after Sugi. He looks to be wanting to find a way through and perhaps get into that fight towards the front. But Sugi is proving to be a bit of a roadblock at the moment. But he also has barely any ERS left. He has under 10%. Envy isn't too much better right now, and we still have a few laps left to go. So here we go, once again down the straight. Ghost is going to get a hold of DRS. But you can see that gap is barely closing. Wolver is really strong down a straight line, and it's giving him all the advantage he needs. Ghostly just can't find a way through, but still, Ghostly keeping up and keeping a hold of the DRS is giving him a saving grace. With the gap that they've now pulled, Ghostly will still get a podium.
And also, Yeti is an Alpine driver, so he might tell Yeti to slow down.
Well, as far as Yeti is concerned, he's driving for a different team, and so he shouldn't listen to his other team's orders, technically. Now, obviously, if they did do that, we cannot prove it unless someone is recording their audio for some reason. I don't know who would do that, though, but Wonder Toast gets a time penalty for track limits. Suddenly, that's put him on an even playing field with Zip and Slayer, and now, with them both aware of that, they're going to want to quickly get in on this action, but Prit is going to have to defend very soon from Wonder Toast, Zip, and Slayer. This battle for 7th is still keeping very close. Meanwhile, Envy is closing the gap more and more to Sugi, but still can't find a way through. Ghostly, managing to keep up with Wolfer, has now pulled a 2-second gap. If he can continue to ride behind Wolfer and just sail along with that DRS, he's going to be able to pull a 3-second gap.
Ando spun.
That's unfortunate for him. He's now down very far off and well out of the points.
I don't know if he has enough time to close that gap to be even within that time penalties.
Well, we have Zip gaining very rapidly right now, chasing after the Ferrari of Wonder Toast. He has much more pace as Wonder Toast tires are starting to die off little by little. Zip looking for a chance. He can't find it into Cobbs, so he's going to have to look for a better opportunity. As I said before, I only know 3 sections of this track. Cobbs, for obvious reasons from last year. The Hanger Straight and the Hamilton Straight, and that is it. If you expect me to know any other corner names around here, prepare to be disappointed. Meanwhile, Envy is chasing after Sugi, still stuck behind, still the same story, but that story seems to be coming to a close soon as Envy has closed the gap even further now. And with all this going on, Sugi's actually closing the gap bit by bit to Yeti. And also, meanwhile, at the front, Ghostly has now nearly pulled 3 seconds on Geo. If he continues at this rate, Ghostly is going to be able to get a hold of 2nd place.
Yes.
Actually, I think this may have been Ghostly's game plan all along. I think he knew Wolfer was faster than him, but at the very least, if he just kept up in the DRS, he could claim 2nd.
That might have been Ghostly's end goal.
Indeed, I think this is all part of the Alpine master plan for him right now. And it seems to be working, though. He's now nearly pulled that 3-second gap he's looking for. Oh, and Yeti's gotten a time penalty now, 3 seconds for multiple warnings. And actually, Sugi's nearly pulled a 2nd gap on Yeti. Actually, he may have pulled just enough to get a hold of DRS here.
Nope.
Nope. But Envy's rapidly gaining. This is the opportunity he's been waiting for. He manages to sail through to claim 5th place, and now he's free to chase after. Oh wait, no, not for long. Sugi's looking to fight it back here. Sugi gets a really good exit on the outside line, managing to keep advantage. He's still keeping alongside, going around the final corner. These two are still going wheel to wheel, and Sugi manages to remain ahead. What brilliant racing from the two of them right now. That was an incredible defense from Sugi. Now Envy looking for another chance to attack, going around turn 3. Can he complete the move? I think he just has. But now Sugi's going to look for another chance to attack here. He's going around the outside yet again. These two are racing incredibly hard. Which driver has DRS? It's Envy who has DRS now, and he's going to be able to put himself ahead. Sugi still keeping up very well. But still, after that DRS, Envy manages to complete the move. What a brilliant battle for the two of them. That was incredible to witness. But
Zip crashed.
no, that's unfortunate for him. He's still in the points, but not for long as Ando manages to put himself ahead.
That is the break Ando needed just to get back up into the points.
Yes, and Envy isn't going to be getting a break just yet. As now, he's got a 3-second time penalty. That is not good for him. He can't afford to get another because Sugi is coming up fast, and now he's got some DRS of his own, but Sugi has literally no ERS left. He has 0%. He has nothing. But Sugi's gonna look for another opportunity. Is he gonna go for a dive? He's gonna go for it! Around the penultimate corner! He can't complete the move, but he's gonna look for another chance. That was a very close set. Zip gets a 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. Oh, that's just brutal for him. But here we go, 3 laps left to go. Ghostly has nearly pulled that 3-second gap, and he's managed to achieve it. Now, he's got second place secured, but he's keeping up even better with Wolver now. Wolver is actually nearly out of ERS, along with the rest of the field, barely having any left. The only one who does have plenty right now, actually, is Wonder Toast, seemingly biding his time with the good bit of DRS he has. Meanwhile, Zip is going very slowly right now.
Does he have a puncture?
I don't think so. Is he potentially out of fuel?
Envy spun again!
I think Zip is out of fuel.
Envy just spun!
Oh, Zip gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Envy spun? Wait, now he's going wheel to wheel with Prid. Prid is going to look for a chance to get through. If he does, he's going to get a hold of 6th place.
Prid has no penalties.
Yes, he does, but he's still got Wonder Toast coming up fast. Wonder Toast gets another penalty, though. Prid, I think, has just secured his 6th place for himself. It could be a brilliant comeback drive, to say the least.
If Prid could get a move on, he could even snatch 5th.
Yes, I think you're right on that. You can see Prid is keeping up very well with Envy. If Prid finds a way through and just pulls a few tenths on Sugi, he can get a top 5 finish. But you can see Envy is struggling right now, and that's holding Prid back a little bit. And we're on the penultimate lap. Prid does not have much time remaining to pull a gap like that. At the same time, Ghostly's struggling to keep that 3-second gap to Geo. Geo is keeping it relatively well, and he was under that 3-second gap again. You can see Geo is still on the cusp. If he just gains a couple tenths on Ghostly, he can get that podium that he's been looking for. Well, that 2nd place. He's already in the podium. But he might have a bit of an advantage with that Aston Martin of Taylor Boss. He is getting into a slight bit of toe, and if he gets close enough, he can get a hold of DRS.
And he will. I believe. He is.
And that is going to give him an advantage that he's been looking for. And now Taylor Boss is going to let him by, and he's free to sail through. But that gap is increasing because he doesn't have the toe that Ghostly does right now. Meanwhile, as for Prid, he's still just out of range of Sugi. Still, Prid will at least be getting a hold of 6th place. And at the same time, near the back, we have Slayer chasing after Wonder Toe. Still, with the penalty, Slayer will finish ahead of him. But Slayer's going to look for a move regardless, braking very late. Going around, can he complete the move? No, he can't. Wonder Toast remains ahead.
If Sugi is to get another 3-second time penalty, that would secure Prid the position.
Taylor Boss gets a time penalty. That's not exactly the car Prid is looking for. But, as he said, if he gets one more time penalty, that secures the top 5 spot for Prid. But we're on the final lap now. So this is it. This is the end. It's now or never for everybody. Emily's gotten under 6 seconds to Sugi, who does have a 6-second penalty at the moment. If Prid can somehow,
has a 3 himself.
if Prid can pull just enough of a gap by the end somehow, then he can make this happen. But I don't think it's going to.
Prid's praying for a miracle right now.
Indeed, unfortunately, the skies are not opening up to reveal that because it's still overcast. He's going to have to settle for 6th place today, I think, but settling for another victory to his name It's going to be Whooper winning the British Grand Prix despite a lot of struggles. He managed to pull it off. Ghostly, pulling enough of a gap, will be able to retain second to Geo, coming in third. Yeti, pulling off a pretty solid drive, manages to come home in fourth, bringing home plenty of points to Alfa Romeo. Sugi fifth. Envy, coming up quickly, will have to settle for seventh as Pred will come by and manage to pass him. Pred taking sixth. Wonder Toast ninth after Slayer overtakes him due to penalties. And then Ando finishing up will round out the points, with Asparagus the only driver remaining to finish after Ando.
Unlucky for Prid, 19.3 behind the leader, and then Suyi was 18.2, 1.1 separating them. So close, but so far.
Indeed, I'm kind of glad the race kind of calmed down a little bit, because that first half of the race was chaotic. I had no idea what was happening. But after the safety car, everything just kind of went to a status quo, and we got really good racing, especially that battle between Sugi and Envy, I think it was. That battle was...
I don't know how that worked.
That battle
Like,
was
how?
brilliant. That was incredible racing from the both of them. Incredibly clean and fierce. And once again, Wolver's going to claim a win for McLaren, and this could potentially put him back into the championship fight. He has lost a bit of ground after not finishing in Australia and not starting at Imola, but this could give him that upwards momentum that he needs. And Max Verstappen not present, and Envy losing out on a lot of points will give him a good advantage. I think this championship fight is only going to get closer as time goes on, but I have to say that was a brilliant race in the second half specifically. Although I think next week is going to be a little bit different, because next week we are going to be heading to the streets of Singapore. I'll be seeing you all then. I've been Mock Mage, and I'll be seeing you all next time.